What's up guys, this is Barnman2205 and welcome to another Barnman2205 vlog thing. I don't really have a name for these, it's just sort of things I do from time to time. Anyway, before we get into the main topic of today's video, I want to apologize if you've been waiting for a filthy casual playthrough of Warcraft 3. It's coming. Literally as I'm recording this video, it is being uploaded to YouTube. It says it has another 14 minutes, so if you're watching this, it should be up. I recorded it and everything, it's like it did it, I just forgot to post it. My bad. But that's coming. Anyway, today's topic, as you probably would have guessed by reading the video title, is the future of Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot. Because I don't know if you've heard, but there were rumors, there were rumblings, fairly credible rumors. This lady named Laura Kate Dale has leaked that there's going to be a Spyro Trilogy remaster announced next month to be released later on in the year, being developed by the same people who did the Crash Bandicoot remaster, and it's gonna be like a very similar kind of thing, where it's like shiny new graphics, remastered soundtrack, all 3 games, trophies, blah 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 blah. Basically just what they did to Crash but for Spyro. And you know, it's just rumors, nothing's official, but Laura Kate Dale has a fairly positive track record with leaking these kinds of things. So, you know, it's a safe bet. It's not a guaranteed bet, but like, I'm not gonna bet the farm on it, but I'd maybe bet I'd bet a steak on it. I would bet a steak dinner on it. Come at me. But no, so, you know, what do I think of this? Because I know, I think it was Dave was texting me like, what do you think? And I was like, and it's cautious optimism, because the Crash Bandicoot remaster, if you haven't watched my series of Crash Bandicoot 2, there was one, the Insane Trilogy was 95% the way there of being amazing. Because the graphics, the soundtrack, they changed the save system, how that works, they like fixed the broken save system from Crash 1, and it's all like quick saves and all, it's amazing. But they tampered with the hitboxes of like platforms and enemies and stuff, and they tampered with the like the jumping physics, so that they all played exactly like Crash 3, but the Crash 1 and 2 levels are geometrically the same as Crash 2, and so the physics aren't designed for it. And for like 99% of people, like, it wouldn't even matter, but for someone like me, who plays those games practically religiously, like once a year, sometimes even twice, like playing Crash 2 with Crash 3 physics is just a nightmare. And then when you get to Crash 3, hooray, the jumping physics are fixed. Oh, but the vehicle controls aren't as tight as they were. And they weren't even that tight to begin with, so the fact that they were even worse than the third one is like, ugh. And some people are just like, well, they were always bad, and I'm like, no, yeah, they're worse, like, trust me, like, I play them a lot, they're definitely different. And I even, like, since tried playing, like, the original version of Crash 3 again, and I'm like, yep, these are definitely better, it's not my imagination. So where does that leave Spyro? You know, like, the graphics and everything, like, I have complete faith that they would be good. The soundtrack, the first Spyro the Dragon is my favorite video game soundtrack of all time, and to get an actual, like, remastered, like, high quality version of that soundtrack, sign me up, that would be so good. The thing that makes me nervous is the physics, because like Crash 3, Spyro's 1, 2, and 3, they do control ever so slightly differently. They make tweaks and changes to how Spyro controls in all 3 of those games. So hopefully they don't do it again where they streamline it and then, like, making a jump in Spyro 2 is suddenly a lot harder because he hovers at a slightly different rate, and the height of the jump is slightly different, and the speed that he travels, or something ridiculous like that. I really hope that isn't the case. Although, people were pretty darn vocal about Crash 3. Like, the hardcore fans are like, yeah, don't do that. Like, why would you do that? Like, how could they have done that? And they were pretty vocal about that, so I would like to think that, assuming it is the same team, that they would be like, okay, like, lesson learned, maybe we'll keep the physics the same, we won't tamper with the hitboxes. And if that's the case, if they do keep everything the same, then we're in for a treat. Then, like, they would become the definitive versions of those 3 games, and they would be perfect. And then I guess the other sort of big question is, where does that leave Crash Bandicoot? Because there's other rumors saying that the team that made the Crash Bandicoot trilogy is making a brand new Crash Bandicoot game. Well, they're making some sort of Crash Bandicoot game. There isn't really anything to say whether it's brand new, whether it's remastering something else, whether it's Crash Team Racing, which people really want. I do not want that. I do not want Crash Team Racing. Based on what I played of Crash 3, because as I mentioned earlier, the vehicle controls did not hold up. Crash Team Racing is perfect. Like, the way that game feels is perfect. The control, it's perfect. Everything about it is perfect. So I don't even want the slightest, like, tweak to how that game feels and controls. Like, I don't want it. Literally, just take the game, add online to it. That's all you have to do. And, like, sure, touch up the graphics, whatever, but, like, do not touch the way that game feels. Like, I don't want it. Oh, no, it's perfect. Don't mess with it. Don't mess with perfection. Sorry, I just get a little excited. Yeah, so if that's the case, I don't want them to make a remaster. But if it is a brand new Crash game, and then there's the question as well with that: do they do it in the style of the first 3? Do they take it like full open world? Do they make it? I mean, I would hope that they learnt from what eventually happened to Crash, where it doesn't look, feel, play anything like Crash Bandicoot. And at that point, why is it even Crash Bandicoot? It's so different and yeah. But like, if they sort of do what they did with Twinsanity, I have mixed feelings about Twinsanity. But when it was just you're playing as Crash and it's a 3D environment, like, I thought it was a good, this is what Crash would be like in 3D. But I didn't like all the sort of Nina Cortex stuff, and here's a ridiculous amount of weird gimmicky levels, and now you're whacking Cortex into things, and now they're fighting and they're a brawl and you're surfboard. Anyway, yeah, I didn't care for all that. But anyway, what am I even talking about anymore? What does this mean for Crash? Because people are saying, well, if they're doing Crash, how can they do Spyro? Or if they do Spyro, how can they do Crash? I don't know Vicarious Visions that well. They're the studio that did Crash and is allegedly doing these 2 remakes, remasters / new games / whatever. I don't know them super well. I don't know how big they are, but it is entirely possible that they have 2 separate teams, and they've got, like, the bulk of the Crash team has moved on to the new Crash, and they've got some of them who have sort of more of the remaster experience to sort of helm Spyro, and they're sort of going off in 2 different paths. If they're a big enough studio, then that's totally a thing that they can do. Or maybe they're tiny and they have to do one at a time. I don't know. Because people are very confused, saying like, oh, what does it mean? Why, we get this one, we get that one, we get that one. But it's entirely possible. People calm down. It's entirely possible that we can get both. I hope we get both. I like to think Vicarious Visions is big enough, because they have had multiple projects in the works before. Like back when they were sort of doing like the Game Boy Advance era Crash stuff and the PS2 eras. Like they've done Crash before, and they did some tie-ins with Spyro. So they've had multiple projects in the works before. So I like to think they could do both. But yeah, so I don't even know if there was a point that I was trying to make here. I think, well, my point is cautious optimism. It's, you know, Crash Bandicoot was 95% the way there, and even if Spyro is 95% the way there, then I would still be happy enough with that. But I want them to sort of take that extra criticism that came with the trilogy of Crash and to just take that and go, okay, we won't mess with this, we'll only fix the things that really need fixing, we'll leave other things untouched. And with Spyro, I don't even know what needs fixing there. I mean, nothing really. Just cut out the stupid Yeti boxing fight. That needs to go. Everything else is fine. Man, I just had a thought that if they do tweak the jumping physics, that stupid popcorn game in Spyro 2 would be awful. I'm already not a fan of it, but it would be even worse. It'd be even worse. My computer has gone black. Are you still recording this, computer? I hope so. I'm pretty sure it was. Anyway, yeah, I just want them to sort of take that criticism to heart, only fix what needs fixing, and that can take that 95% the way there to truly make it like this is the definitive version of the Spyro the Dragon trilogy. That's what I want. And if they do making Crash Bandicoot as well, I hope it's. I guess I never answered. What would I rather? I would actually rather it was in the style of the first three. Like keep the the Sonic's ass camera perspective is what they called it in development, where he is just running in a straight line, or sometimes he's running sideways. I mean, I would take the sort of more open world Spyro the Dragon Mario 64 approach to Crash Bandicoot, and I'm sure they could do a good job at it, but I want to see what happens if they take that original sort of thing and just make it their own and do something really cool with it. That's what I want out of that. But I mean, I guess that's all. That's all I really wanted to say. The other thing is, going back to the sort of the vehicle controls didn't hold up in Insane Trilogy. There are a lot of vehicles in Spyro. There's a lot of sort of mini games and bizarre little challenges. Like there's hover tanks and flying spaceships and the harbor trolley. Oh, trouble with the trolley, eh? Things like that. So there are quite a few of those. So they got to get those right, because some of them are more fun, definitely more fun than others. And if the not so fun ones don't feel right, and same as Spyro's friends, like in Spyro 3, where you've got your Bentley and Sheila and Sergeant Bird, and there's a fourth one, Agent 9. And I had 5 fingers up, but yeah, there's the 4 of them. They didn't even play that great to begin with, so you know what, they can tweak those, but if they're gonna tweak those, they have to tweak them for the better and not feel even worse. Actually, no, don't take that risk. Don't take that risk. Keep them exactly as they were. Otherwise, I'll turn into a hypocrite and I'll be like, why did they change it? Anyway, that's all I really had to say. Warcraft 3 has about 3 minutes left, so I should probably wrap this up so I can finish posting that. So anyway, thank you for checking out this little update. What are your thoughts? Let me know. If they were to do, if either of these 2 rumored projects are in development, or both, what would you want them to be? Do you have a preference of one over the other if they can only work on one? But if the dream scenario is that they're working on both and they're both gonna be amazing, what do you want them to be? I wanna know. I wanna know. Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much, guys. Keep it real and keep it Barn Man.